And we now move down to the start of the Queen Mother Challenge Cup. We have Dukla Praha from the Czech Republic and Victoria City Rowing Club from Canada. Good start there from both of these quads. The Canadian crew just moving slightly out of their station. We've seen a lot of the crews struggling with their course as they come past the island. Moving back.
Yeah, because they're rowing into the stream, when the stream hits the island, it has to obviously go either side, and so it comes down, it can push you out of your lane, which the Canadians got slightly caught with that. So as soon as you're racing flat out off the start and your boat's getting pushed as they're rowing to their right towards the other crew, so they've had to go with that, use the rudder, which just takes that little bit of speed off.
And we can see the crew closest to us with the signature red and white blades from Canada. It's Matthew Finlay, Graham Peters, Carl Zimmerman and Lucian Broder. But they are sitting down just slightly on the crew from the Czech Republic, who are leading by almost half a boat length now.
The Queen Mother's the open quads event, and they're still very young. You know, the oldest in the Czech crew is 25, and the oldest in the Canadian crew is 22. So they're young athletes, and this is a good experience for them. Not just racing and match racing head to head, but just the unique atmosphere there is Henley with all the boats and the crowds around, and the being lined by bits of wood rather than buoys. It makes it a very different place, and you're getting a lot from it.
Canadian crew, they're still sitting about half a length down on the crew from the Czech Republic. It is Canada Day, July 1st, so I'm sure the crew would be like to be celebrating that with a win, but they're finding it hard to get back on terms with the Czech crew now.
In head-to-head racing, that if you are behind, it's a very difficult place to be, but alternatively, if you can start to come back, it's very easy to crack your opposition, because all they can see is you getting closer and closer and closer, and you're hurting anyway, and then with them closing on you, it just makes that a little bit harder. So we're into the sort of last quarter of a mile of the race, then it's going to be difficult for the Czechs. If they don't start moving away, the Canadians are just going to get a sniff and think they can catch them, but the Czechs have responded and are keeping it at half a length.
And for the crew from Victoria City Rowing Club in Canada, this is the first Henley appearance for most of them, except for the bowman. It's his second Henley Regatta in the last 3 years. His first Henley was the Forley Challenge Cup in 2014.
And it makes a massive difference having been here before, because even though only one of your crew's been here before, they can explain a little bit of what to expect for the others, even when someone tells you it's very different when you get here, you still have an element of knowledge. The total surprise of the atmosphere of Henley is gone.
That's right, it is completely different match racing, firstly, and secondly, being on a river like this, which really does have a bit of a life of its own. I competed in the quads here back in 2011, and it was unlike anything else that I've raced before, and it's one of the reasons why people do come back here. It's the challenge, it's something completely different in our sport, which provides a totally different experience to what we're used to doing.
And it is, very much, unless you're racing flat out, you look to the side, it's like racing at a wedding. People are dressed up, having a good time, but at the same time, you're racing competitive crews. At the international end, there's world and Olympic champions racing each other in a very unique environment, which means there's tough racing, but a very special atmosphere, which is why people keep coming back.
And also being that close to the crowd as well. The thing that shocked me when I raced here was how clearly you can hear everything. You're not normally in this close proximity to the crowd cheering, and certainly they're showing their support now from the crew from the Czech Republic as they come past the enclosures. The Canadians really starting to struggle now, taking a few dirty strokes in the rougher water.
They had to put it all in, though, because if they didn't put it all in the middle, and the Czechs would have had a comfortable margin coming into the enclosure, so they had to stick it in, and they pay for it later on, but better to know you've given all you can.
And as we cross the line now in the Queen Mother Challenge Cup, it is the crew from the Czech Republic will take the win over the Canadians.